Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. I'm here today again with one of my favorite people. This is my mother, Carolyn. And I have had a number of people ask me to please do a video on how to do fomentation treatments. Especially even more so since I've been doing the videos about Marilena making the fomentation sets, and I'll try to remember to put a link to those videos in the video description below. But the reason I invited my mother today is because she has a very significant experience with fomentations, and she's become kind of an evangelist for chest fomentations. I've heard her many times say, I told them how to do those chest fomentations. So I thought I would invite Mom to come and just share a little bit of her experience. Do you remember what year that was that you were so sick with the bronchitis?
Not really, but I was very much younger, a lot younger, a few years younger.
So was I.
Well, it was probably back in the early '90s, mid '90s, and that was the sickest I think I'd been in a very long time,
Yeah.
since a child probably, if I was even that sick as a child.
Yeah. And you had bronchitis, right?
I did, and
You'd been out of work for like a month or something
no, I
like
wasn't
that?
out that long. Actually, I worked a long time with that, but I thought it was probably a new comforter that was causing me not to be able to breathe when I would lay down at night, because, sometimes the dyes and things affect me, but I would lay down, and as soon as I'd lay down, I would start gasping. I couldn't breathe, and I thought, this is weird, and so I chunked off that comforter, but that didn't help. So I knew there was something else very serious. But I was sick and I was coughing a lot, and I just didn't understand what was going on. And finally, Dana came and said, "Well, I'm taking you to see the doctor." And she took me to Uchie Pines, and I saw Dr. Thrash, and that's my first and only, I think, experience where a doctor prayed with me, and that really touched me. I'm blessed to have known him.
Yes. And I think I just finished my training over there at Uchee Ponds. I don't remember exactly where I was in that. I trained there and then I started teaching there, and it was about 93 that I made the transition into teaching, so I'm not sure exactly where we were in that. But at any rate, I was gung-ho natural remedies, and I knew this could fix anything, and so I'll just let you finish up your story from there. So.
Well, my train of thought's kind of weak on that
Sorry.
because that's a long time ago. But she gathered me up and took me, and she actually did a treatment on me at Uchee Pines, and I thought, this feels so good. It was just, I mean, I relaxed, my lungs relaxed, and I could breathe better. And so Dr. Thrash said if this didn't work, then he would admit me to the hospital. And I thought, well, this has got to work because I just don't really want to go in the hospital. And Dana started doing aggressive treatments on me, and we did that 3 times a day, 3 rotations 3 times a day. And he also had me taking echinacea and golden seal. And I thought, this just won't work, but it did. It did, and I still take those when I need it. I have golden seal on the shelf now, and echinacea as well, but I only take those when I really am desperate, because I don't want to wear out their potency on me. But anyway, she was doing those rotations, and we did this for about 3 weeks, and then I was finally able to go back to work, because I was out of work for about 3 weeks, and I thought, these people are just never going to believe that I've been this sick, but I was, and it was just very comforting. And within a week or so, I began to improve. I wasn't well by any means, but I began to improve, so that Dana even let me start to do the treatments on myself, which is not easy. And I don't recommend that. If you can get somebody else to do it for you, by all means, because it's just, you lose the power of the comfort of it, and the relaxation, because it does just relax the whole body, and the lungs get what they
Opened
need.
up.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh, it's just great. I really, and I do. I tell a lot of people. I have through since then shared that with a lot of people, and some receive it and some don't. So
Well, the treatment that we're talking about, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, is chest fomentations. And you can use fomentations on the abdomen and other places of the body, but we're specifically speaking now of doing it on the chest for lung issues. And basically what we're doing here is we're creating, in order to have perfect health or good health, you have to have good blood flow, good circulation. And so when you do this chest fomentation, you're creating like a pumping effect of the blood flow in the lungs, so that you're bringing that fresh blood, you're pushing out the toxins, you're opening up everything in there. Plus you're also increasing the white blood cell count in that area. So it's a very powerful treatment. And what do you say we show the people how to do it? You want to help me with that?
no. Oh,
We can do it discreetly.
oh, well.
Okay, I'm getting set up to do the Russian steam bath demonstration for you. If you remember the video on the Russian steam cape that Marilena is making, I'm using the Russian steam cape to pad the bed so that I don't get the bed wet when I do the treatment, and I have a towel on the pillow. So now I'm getting set up for my patient to arrive, and what I'm going to show you is it's just a dry run. I'm not doing an actual treatment. So my fomentation pads are actually dry. And my kettle does not have water in it. But I'll explain it and you can get the idea of how to do this. Now, this fomentation pad, there is a fomentation pad in here, okay? You can see. I don't have the wools that Marilena made, but I do have the pads. This is for the spine to help heat the patient, but you can't let a person lay down just on this. You need to pad it. So I'll put a towel on top of that, doubled over, just 2 layers of towel. You want the spine just to be comfortably warm, or mildly hot. Now I'm going to show you another method for heating the fomentation pads in a little clip that was done by one of the lifestyle counselors over at Uchi Ponds. But ponds. But this is the method that I like to use, and that is the steam kettle. This is just a regular canning kettle that you can use to do water bath canning. And I have, I'll show you in the bottom, I have the little thing that comes for canning in there. And then I also have a steam tray that I put upside down, and that gets my fomentations up away from the water so that they don't get, I only want them damp. I dampen these with water, I wet them thoroughly, and then I wring them out so that they're just damp. You don't want them dripping wet, you just want them very damp, very moist, okay? And then you put enough water so that it comes up, but not above your steam tray. You want them to sit on top of that and collect the heat, but not the water. So then I just fit them back in there with you know, enough water on the bottom to steam nicely. And I place my fomentations in there. Whenever I made, I think I showed you on another video that I did, my homemade ones that I made, and these were made to fit rolled up standing in here, but these that I have from Marilena are larger, and so they don't fit in here the same way that my homemade ones do, but this will work just fine. So I put this on the stove and I let it heat on high for at least 20 to 25 minutes until these are very hot. And when you handle them, these are not just regular rubber gloves. They have a lining in them, and I can actually handle these fomentation pads when they're very hot with these gloves. I can handle them for a couple of minutes before my hands start getting too hot. So you want to get a nice heavy pair of rubber gloves like this, rubber cleaning gloves that have the nice lining in them, that are kind of, they feel thick and rubbery. So that's what I use for that. So we're going to pretend that my fomentations are hot, and I am going to get a patient in here and we'll show you how to do this. But before I do, I want to mention that when you do this treatment, the fomentation treatment, you can either do it with or without the hot foot bath. Now what I'm going to show you is without the hot foot bath, because we're kind of in a time crunch right now and I'm trying to get this video done and uploaded. But there are other videos on YouTube that show how to do it with the hot foot bath, but basically you just have a large basin at the foot of the bed, and you put the person's feet in the hot water. You have to bend their knees a little bit. That is a big reason why you put the plastic lining under your sheet. I put a sheet down and then I have a blanket on top of it. I'll show you in just a minute. You do that also to collect the sweat, because a person will sweat. So let's get started. Okay, you can see my patient has arrived, and she's right now sitting on that fomentation, and then she's going to lay back and her spine will land right on that fomentation. Okay, since my patient is being a patient, she can't be a camera lady, and my husband is busy, so we're going to do the best we can here. You always want a basin of cold water, so that's my ice cold water, and this patient wanted it on her forehead and her sinus area, so that's what we've done here. And I'm going to get my first fomentation pad. It's damp and hot, and I am going to bring it and unroll it here and place it within padding like so. And I'm sorry if I'm not keeping it in the camera frame. Now I can't just place that right on my patient's chest because it will burn her. That will not be comfortable. And another thing is that the clavicles, the collarbones here, the nipples, any bony prominence are going to heat up a lot faster, so you may actually have to pad those areas more thickly. Typically what I do is I start off with a bath towel folded in half, and sometimes if the person is really thin, I'll go ahead and take another washcloth and place either across the nipples or on the clavicles so that I don't burn them. Okay, so this is ready for my fomentation pad, which normally I would have both hands to use, and place that on there. And then I like to cover with another wool, which I have here. Sorry for the now the camera frame there. I like to cover it up with another piece of wool, and I count 3 minutes. I leave this hot on for 3 minutes, cover everything up, and I have prayed with this lady and asked the Lord to bless our treatment, to bless our video. And because 3 minutes may seem like a long time when you're waiting for the patient, it's really not a long time. It's a very relaxing treatment. Often people will go to sleep, but if they're talking and they're not sleeping and stuff, sometimes I'll sing scripture songs to them, or I'll try to engage them in cheerful conversation. And if they want to be quiet, I let them be quiet. But you notice I have a wool blanket on top so that it retains the heat. And of course she's got the one on her spine, and you're constantly assessing, making sure that they're not burning anywhere. You want to change this out, take the cloth, dip it in the cold water, wring it out, put it back on the forehead, and you want to leave this hot fomentation on for 3 minutes, and then whenever you're done with that, whenever that time is up, you remove the fomentation, and I'm just going to set it here behind me for now, and you take your extra washcloth, wring it out, and normally the person would have, a bare chest, and I try to be discreet. Most often I'll just raise this up and reach under this padding towel so that I don't need to see their chest, and I just do cold friction all over their chest. Often this will take the person's breath initially, but as they heat up, it gets better. So after you do the cold like that, then you're going to need to take another towel or washcloth, dry the chest, replace the padding, and come back with another fomentation, 3 more minutes, and then you do the cold for 30 seconds, come back with another fomentation. You can do as many exchanges as you think you need to. Typically I'll do anywhere from 3 to 5 exchanges on this, and you always end up with cold, okay? And if you have the person's feet in the hot foot bath, you want to do the same. You want to lift the feet gently out of the water, pour cold water, dry them off, have the person rest here for a little bit, and once they've rested, they can get up and shower and wash the toxins off their skin. You don't want them to just sit up right away after this treatment, because they can get a little bit dizzy. And then they shower, and it's really ideal for them to lie down and rest for about another half hour or so. So that's the basics of how to do the fomentation treatment. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the description below. I know that there are more thorough videos on YouTube, but like I said, I've had a lot of people ask me to please do a video, and so I wanted to comply with the request and just encourage you to get what you need. Get your fomentation pads, get your wools. This is a good one that you can use if you need, if you have someone like my patient here who is small statured. This one would work for the chest, and you could even use it for the belly. And even on the spine, really, for this person, it's a little wider than it needs to be for that. But at any rate, that's basically how to do the fomentation. I'll put a link to the fomentation pad video, and also to my hydro kit video that I did showing the things that are in my hydrotherapy kit. And that's it. We'll see you on the next video.
Boom.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go, Mom.
All right, honey.